Hello. So I thought it would be fun to do something today, mainly because I was requested to do it with my...
Where is it? My facimitator.
So my brother-in-law gave me a piece of rose quartz, and he asked if I could do something with it, and he is super into Stranger Things, as am I. So I figured it would be fun to turn this into a D&D dice for him. So let's do that. Well, there you have it. There is your Dungeons & Dragons 20-sided dice. Now this is where you would go in and put the numbers on. And I was going to carve them on, but of course it's freaking rose quartz that he gave me. This stuff is hard as heck, and my burrs would not last very long. It would have just been so much easier if he gave me something like soapstone. Which is why I went ahead and made one out of soapstone. Okay, and there you have it. There's how you make 20-sided dice with a fastening machine. Well, that was a short video, probably at like 2 minutes. I even made a third one out of glass. Well, that was pointless. Just kidding. This video was never about making dice, actually. It was about sculpting this monstrosity of a creature using Sculpey, and I'm excited. It's gonna be cool. Our good friend Demogorgon is pretty much 90% skeleton, so I start out by making an armature, and then I wrapped this little extra piece so that he has a nice long neck, which you can't really see, but I know it's there, and you know it's there. Then I put him onto a base so that I have, you know, something to work with, so he's not just flopping around on my bench. And then we can start bending him into the pose that we want, and I decided to give him a come at me bro stance. Right here, I am building him up with some aluminum foil so that he is a little more chunky. That is literally just so that I'm not using like 12 pounds of clay by the time I'm finished. And now we can start cutting up the clay. I don't know why people do this. I just saw people do it in YouTube, so I decided to do it myself because, you know, there's surely method to the madness. Then we just sploot it all over him. And this is a kind of a weird thing, knowing that the Demogorgon is, you know, like a skeleton basically. So, but we're gonna actually start by making a slightly muscular male figure. Essentially, we are building him up so that we can cut him apart later. I am just kind of building up his musculature, and that's so that we can make him atrophied later. But yeah, just giving him some nice muscly arms. That won't matter in a little bit. Nice strong back. Basically, we're just, yeah, again, just making a strong figure, which is funny because, yeah, we're going to be removing all of that and making him look atrophied. But you know, when you think about it, I think Demogorgon probably has a really good BMI, body mass index. I need to know this information. I'm going to go onto Google and see if I can find that info, because he's probably like way more in shape than you'd think. Alright, I'm angry. I can't find it anywhere on Google after 30 minutes of searching. Why does this information not exist? Now at this point, if we were just to put a normal human head onto this body, it would be a very awkward human trying to do a dinosaur stance. And I like that. I almost did that. Alright, so now is the time that we start making him look all bony and atrophied and stuff. So I'm just rolling out some wormies, and that is so that we can give him a collarbone. Again, the neck has got to look really sunken in, so I'm going to come in with this little ball stylus and just kind of smooth everything out, blend it in a little bit, add a little more depth. And now at this point, I am rubbing on isopropyl alcohol, and that just smooths all of my tool marks out. Now is the point where we can start really making him atrophied, and we're going to add in the rib cage with this little worm. Again, you're going to notice a trend. There's lots of wormies in this whole project. Scooping out a little bit so that we can make his stomach all sunken in and stuff. Again, this is the whole process of making him nice and muscular will not last long. I wasn't sure exactly how to go about this the proper way, so I kind of just started, you know, removing a lot of stuff so that he looked nice and sunken in, adding little rib detail and stomach detail. Because again, it's the whole thing about this entire project is that I've learned that while skeletal, he's also very muscular, and that's weird. That's odd to me. Now I'm going over his chest, adding more texture. Again, I'm not sure if this is supposed to be like atrophied, sunken in muscles, or if he's just shredded, and I don't know how I feel about it, honestly. I don't know which way to go with this. Same with the shoulders, kind of sinking in the shoulders a little bit, and more wormies. That's a trend that will come up multiple times. Lots of wormies. And I'm blending that in a little bit, making it so his tendons and veins are popping out a little bit. Then he's gonna get some nice, that'd be the jugular? I don't know. I don't know. He needs a good circulatory system, so I figured I'd add it anyway. Then I'm gonna start defining his arms a little bit. And I had no idea in what process like to go with this whole thing, so I just swapped straight from the forearms to the quads because, you know, why not? I think it would make more sense to start from the bottom and then work your way up, but you'll notice that I kind of just did whatever I want. There was no real like actual process throughout this whole thing. But now we can start making his legs all sunken in and stuff, and start giving him some ribs to make him look even more unhealthy, which is sad considering he started out really, really nice and healthy looking, and now he's just slowly getting worse and worse. Giving him some back detail. I'm gonna say this a lot, but I don't know if it's supposed to be like muscular or just completely skin and tendon, but again, he just looks muscular. More isopropyl alcohol to start smoothing everything out from all those tool marks, and that just really, really helps define all of your shapes. And yeah, I think he's starting to look really good. You can see that the muscle's starting to go away, and now he's just looking a little bit unhealthy. Now it's time for the hands, and I wasn't actually sure how to go about doing this, so I just kind of rolled out two semi-evenly shaped balls, and kind of flattened out one end, and I cut 3 fingers. And I looked so many pictures up, and I could not tell if the Demogorgon has 5 fingers or 4 fingers, so I just went with 4. And then you kind of just bend them into the shape that you want, give them a nice curled hand, then attach another worm onto the side so that we can make a thumb. And as you can see, I totally did not mess up the other hand, and this is definitely that same hand. But you just do that again, and then go ahead and give yourself a round of applause. At this point, I'm going to give him some nice claws, and I regret doing it this way. I probably should have just made them extensions of the finger, but I figured, you know, this made sense. And I took my trusty heat gun to heat them up so that they're a little more rigid, so that they can pop into place a little easier. And it's important that you blow almost all of them off of your little tiny baby anvil while you do this. That's a very necessary step while you're working. Then you make little slots. With anything, I used a ball stylus, but you could probably use I don't know, toenail clippers or something. That'd be more fitting. Then you just stab them into place, which looks really uncomfortable. And there you go. There's your nice clawed hands after blending them in with a ball stylus. Again, you could probably use toenail clippers for this process as well, but it looks good. And then you just slide them right onto the little bit of armature wire that I left sticking out. And I'll blend that in again. This time I did use a toenail clipper. And we'll start adding a little bit of that tendony detail. And now our grotesque monster has nice menacing hands. And the come at me bro stance is really starting to show. Again with the feet, I did not really know a good way to do the feet, so I kind of just put on a blob. And if you don't know what to do with the Demogorgon, the best way to go about it is just tendon it up, you know, like make him look stringy. And I think it worked with the feet. I don't know. I wasn't sure how to do the feet, so I just made him look all tendony and monstrous, which seemed to work. Seemed to work pretty well. Now that we've got the hands and feet back on, I can start coming in on the forearms. And this is the most important step of the whole process, so make sure you're paying close attention. Then I came in, defined his calves again, make him look just grotesque and unhealthy, nice and sunken in. And one last time, we'll go through and give everything a nice coating of isopropyl alcohol. Smooth everything out and hide our mistakes. And there you go. Everything is shaped except for a head. So, for this next step, we can start making the head so that Demogorgon can sing the songs of his people. So take an undisclosed amount of clay, because I'm hiding it off frame, and roll it into a nice little ball. Then I cut out little slots because it seemed to make sense. Spluted that out, making some nice flower petals for his, again, grotesque, monstery flower head. Kind of just rolling everything out, making it nice and dished and rounded. More wormies, because that's a necessity in all clay projects I'm learning. Kind of just connect that together. We're going to splute out those petals a little bit more. And there you go. It's actually really that easy. The Demogorgon head is very, very simple to make. Now the teeth, on the other hand, that's a different story. So we took dozens, if not hundreds, of little tiny wormies, cut them in half, and I heated them all with my heat gun to harden them up. And we have to slot all of those in individually, and it's gonna take forever. But before we do that, we can attach our head, give them a what you say look before I fix it, and then blend it into the neck. I went back and added more clay to the neck so that it was a little more bulky. And yeah, now we just start the arduous process of slotting all of these teeth individually, one at a time. And if it looks like it's taking a long time, that's because it did. Basically with this whole process, if you think that a tooth needs to be there, you should probably put 10 teeth there. And yeah, then just go in and blend them all in a little bit. Though it doesn't really matter that much. And there we go. Demogorgon is looking fantastic with the grotesque monster head. And, I love it. Okay, so now it's time to paint. You'll need a paintbrush. And another paintbrush. And another. And another. And one more. Milky white, titanium white, vermilion, crimson, and scarlet, permanent red, and pink, and Payne's gray. Probably need about 32 ounces of coffee, and a friend to keep you company. Then we mixed out a bunch of different colors. I don't remember which ones to get this kind of pinky, fleshy tone. Which I'm sure what you're thinking right now is Demogorgon isn't pink. But that's just to put down our base coat. You'll actually get way more definition if you layer darker and then put your lighter layers on top of that. So yeah, now we're just this weird fleshy pink monster, and it looks kind of, cute in this stage. But then we start going on and adding our white dry brushing on top. Well, not white, but creamy color. And we'll just pretty much go over the whole thing and add more white everywhere. And then we paint the mouth red. Don't worry about getting over your teeth because we have to do those individually later. Give some pink right around the edges to just give the illusion of depth. Give them a nice black mouth hole. And then we go in and, individually paint every tooth white. And again, just like putting them in place, it didn't take forever, I promise. So, before I show you him, we're gonna need to make a base. So I use styrofoam for this, but you could probably use a lot of different stuff. And then I, made a little oval shape. And it's super light, which is why I probably should have used a different material. So we're gonna have to put something inside of the foam to weight it a little bit. Otherwise, Demogorgon is gonna be real tipsy and drunk all the time. So I put this little piece of wood in there, and it actually worked fantastic to kind of even out the weight. And then I'm gonna do my best to make this a little rock shaped with the most important carving tool in the book, which is a flathead screwdriver. We're gonna heat it up a little bit, and that's just to kind of like lock it in a little bit. Then I decided to try to give it some rocky texture using some rocks, and the quartz did not work at all. So I grabbed another piece of smoky quartz to take out my rage. After realizing that that was not going to work in any way, I went outside and just sprayed a little bit of hammered brass all over it, and the aerosols dissolve the styrofoam and give you a really, really cool natural rocky texture. We look weird when it's brass, but when you start layering your paint over top of it, you'll really start to see that awesome rocky texture. I didn't realize that my black was actually blue, so it's a little purple at this point, but it won't matter later because we fixed that. We just start dry brushing progressively lighter layers of gray and white, and we can stab them down into place carefully. And now is the fun part. We gotta give them some slimy mouth detail texture, and the way I do that is I just pull on some hot glue until it dries, and then you got these nice little stringies. And we're just going to attach them in random little places throughout his mouth so it looks like the saliva is just flying. And going to cover the whole mouth with gloss Mod Podge so that he's nice and shiny, looks wet and slimy. And that's actually pretty much it. All right, guys. Well, there you have it, and I think it looks freaking awesome. I'm so happy with it. Came out great, and the little drooblies, I think, were a great idea. It actually happened on accident with the first one, but I decided I liked it so much, I made a bunch more. Oh, it's so cool. I love it. I waited till the very end of the video to say this, because it was either going to be really obvious or it would be a point of inspiration for everyone else, but I have literally never sculpted before. I've done a lot of carving, but I've never sculpted once in my life. That was my first time ever touching polymer clay. So I am super happy with how it came out, but also that should serve as a point of inspiration for the rest of you. If you have an idea and, you know, it sounds like intimidating or something, just try it. You know, you might surprise yourself. I definitely did. That being said, though, I had no idea, because I've never worked with polymer clay before, how much clay that would actually use. So I hardly touched my stash, which means we will definitely be doing another clay project very, very soon, because that was a lot of fun. Alrighty, guys. Well, I think that's going to do it for this one. That was so much fun. I wanted to learn how to sculpt for a long time, and I'm really happy that I decided to step way outside of my comfort zone and probably start with something a little more advanced than I was ready for, but hey, it was fun. I honestly loved it. Before we wrap up this video, it is time to pick the winner of last week's giveaway. For those of you who watched and entered the giveaway, you'll remember that I had a leftover wire wrap tree, and I said I would doctor it up and put it on a base. And I have done that. So this is what you are winning. A beautiful little tree sitting on a little mountainscape. All right, let's see who the winner is. Lisa Moore. Lisa Moore, I need you to go to the About Me section of my channel, where my email should be. I hope it's there. It might be there. I'll make sure it's there before this video goes up, but send me an email, and we will chat, and I will find out how to get this to you, and I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you guys thought down in the comments, and also give me more ideas, because, you know, now that we have the clay and the tools and the basic knowledge of how to sculpt, I want to do more projects, so any suggestions are more than welcome. If you guys enjoy it, make sure to like the smash button and subscribe, because there's a whole lot more of this kind of stuff to come. We are just starting. I'm sure most of you came from my other channel, but for any of you that found this video first, I actually have another channel. I'll have a link to that in the description. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this one. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you next time.